Hi Capricorn, welcome to the Modern Spiritualist. My name is Raheem. Today we are going to do the general September reading for the sign of Capricorn, Sun, Moon, and Rising. So if you know your sun sign and it's Capricorn, you're in the right place. If you know your moon and your rising signs, make sure to look for those as well. I went ahead and already pulled the spread, and I apologize for the glare there, but I am kind of amazed right now because there are 5 major arcana in this layout, and the primary energies for the month of September are all major arcana cards. It's 2 cards roughly for each week of the month to get you through the month. Primary energies, I pulled the Thoth deck, secondary Albano Weight, and so these are primary, and these are kind of clarifications to give you more insight into your situation. Obviously, this isn't going to be like 7 days, 7 days, 7 days. Some of these energies will hang around longer, some for a shorter duration. This is kind of potentially the basic linear energies you'll be facing throughout the month. All will vary according to your situation, so take what resonates and leave what does not. This is a really incredible spread, so let's just go ahead and get started. In the first week of September, we have the Emperor reversed. And clarifying that, we have the Moon. In the second week of September, we have the Hierophant, clarified by the Six of Cups. In the third week of September, we have the Star card in reverse, clarified by the Ace of Cups. And in the fourth week, we have the Hanged Man, and that is clarified by the Ace of Wands, reversed, and the Page of Wands. Okay, so first of all, some of these energies are rather similar. We have the Emperor here in the first week and the Hierophant in the second week. These cards are kind of similar in that it's kind of a masculine-leaning type of authority. They just kind of conduct themselves in different ways, so we'll talk about that. We also have the Ace of Cups and the Star, and they're together in a pair. These are similar energies as well. It's looking really good. So let's start here. Let's start with the Emperor. I'm getting nothing from the reversal other than the fact that you are discovering your power in an internal sense. Like, you guys may not necessarily, I mean, you may, but you may not necessarily be showing up in your life in a leadership capacity. Sometimes the Emperor can indicate that you're stepping into some sort of new leadership role or something like that. I don't get that very strongly. What I'm getting is that you're kind of realizing your own sense of authority, power, and leadership within you, and it may be pure potential energy right now. And so even if this isn't manifesting in your world in a specific way, it's who you're becoming. It's who you're realizing that you are. I think this is a period of deep growth. I think you've been in that period of deep growth for a pretty long time now. I mean, ever since December, this has been a really long cycle of growth for Capricorn. And I think there's been a pretty big shift, or I feel there's been a pretty big shift post the June eclipse with the new moon in Capricorn, or the lunar eclipse in Capricorn, where it's kind of like there was that 6-month period of things kind of being dismantled, things not being very clear, and Capricorn being asked to grow and step up and face their fears in a lot of really specific ways. And from June, July on, since that lunar eclipse in Capricorn, things are starting to be realized, right? We're kind of past the worst part is over, like that kind of towery energy through December, from December and on through April. And so now what you're looking at is, I am this new person, right? I am this new, more powerful version of Capricorn, and this is you kind of getting an intimate touch with those truths. Like, I am powerful, I am authority, I am a leader, I am dynamic, I claim ownership to the things in my life that I'm responsible for, all of those kinds of things. I get the sense that you're coming into this month, with that understanding. Like, I'm not the same person that I was before. Um, you have so much more power now, right? You have so much more power now, more personal power. And this is a card. In the reverse, it's a card of personal power. Um, it's nothing you necessarily have to share. It's just something that you are. It's something that you know, right? Deep down, like in your core, this self-realization, right? And it's paired with the moon. Um, hmm. What's kind of interesting about this card is that it's like the moon. You can see the sun first of all reflected in the moon. It's kind of like they're both present in a certain way, and I think that really shows the receptivity of the moon and the fact that what the moon is doing is reflecting the light of the sun. And in that way, it's a very pure channel. It's a very pure channel of light, and that's what humans are. Humans are this pure channel of light from the highest power. Um, and self-realization is really just the path to clearing out those things that block you from being that channel of light, right? It's clearing out everything that prevents that light from coming through with perfect clarity, right? And um, that sort of ultimate point of um, enlightenment or illumination or whatever you want to call it is that moment in which you become a pure channel of light, right? And that's what the moon card means to me. Um, it doesn't mean that necessarily to other readers. To me, it's asking you um, in what ways do I need to show up for myself in order to become that channel of light? What emotions do I need to um, bring light to and understand? Um, what show me what needs to be cleared out so that I can let go of those things that don't serve me and become that pure channel of light, right? Like that's the journey of the moon. It's also it's a cyclical. The moon has this cyclical pattern, right, where it's like the full moon is like the full manifestation or the full illumination of whatever it is that you're realizing in that moment, and then it starts to wane again. You kind of go back into the dark, you go back into the shadows, and then you bring those shadows back into light again, and it's this continual process of grabbing things from shadow, examining them, bringing them to the light of the full moon, and then releasing them. And in this way, this is how we unlearn all of these collective patterns that don't serve us, right? And so the moon is that for me as a reader. What I also think is interesting is that it's like between these two towers, and the moon has this kind of like towery energy to it in certain ways, but this is more like like a parting of the Red Sea, kind of vibe for me, where it's like the towers aren't even in the way because you've got this pure pathway. You can see the golden illumination of the light. It's kind of moving between the two towers. Um, you have Scorpio energy here, right, which is all about bringing shadows to light. So, in relation to the Emperor here, I just get a sense that this has been the path for you for a while, and it may continue to be, where it's like you're really clearing out all those things that don't serve you, and the more that you do that, the more you realize the power that you have within yourself, right? And I think that's just going to be a really big theme, maybe. But it feels like this is not something that's going away. This is also not something that has come up out of nowhere. Like, this is the process you have been in for a long time now, ever since December, or maybe even longer. You know, some of these cycles can carry on for a really, really long time. And clearing out is kind of not something that you ever stop doing either. Like, that's just kind of the path, right? Is that we're constantly shedding our skin, and becoming higher and higher frequency beings. And so this is kind of the path ultimately. And I think this is just coming up because it's a checkpoint for you. It's like, look at how far you've come, and look at how far you have to go, and how exciting is that, right? That we get to be on this path, right? And so it feels really exciting. It feels really good. It feels grounded. It feels solid. It feels like you're like, yeah, I'm a badass. Like, that's how you're feeling going into September. In the second week of September, we have the Hierophant. Um, like I said, it's similar to the Emperor energy. Yeah, I mean, this is like the archetypal spiritual teacher, right? And I think this is just kind of like a second wave of realization for you, where it's like, what ways have you stepped into your own personal power, and then in what ways can you turn that personal power into this figure that you have the potential to be, or maybe already in many ways. This figure of somebody who is really in their integrity, really in their spiritual truth, has a lot of earthly wisdom and worldly knowledge, right? Capricorn. I mean, Capricorn knows how to do this game here on Earth, right? Um, and so yeah, this is you stepping into your realizing your power internally, and then stepping into it in a more refined capacity, in a way that others understand of you. Like when other people look at you, what do they see? And many of them, especially if you have students or people like that in your life, where you are an example, you are a prime example of knowledge and wisdom in whatever field it is that you do, like whatever your divine wisdom is, people see it in you, and you do project that energy, and you're going to do it even more as we're coming into this cycle this month. And the Hierophant is paired with the Six of Cups, which, hmm, yeah, to me it feels like whatever realization you have here, in which you're kind of really ruling this type of energy, this spiritual teacher, this archetypal teacher energy. Um, it may be from, again, something deep within yourself that is coming to light that you're familiar with. There may be a sense of being like, oh yeah, when I was, like a toddler, I had a real drive or desire to kind of play in this way. Or I gravitated towards these activities, and now look at me as an adult, kind of doing the same things in this, different kind of capacity. It's kind of this return to being like, yeah, I am who I always was, just a more refined, wiser, more experienced version of that now. And the Six of Cups is a card of just so much joy. So I get the sense that you really love what you do right now. You really love what you do. You're getting a lot of enjoyment, a lot of fulfillment out of it. Um, Whatever you're moving towards is really aligned with your heart and soul, and I just get the sense that you're really on the path towards your destiny, and you know it. You absolutely know it. Um, on a less heavily soul experience level, you may also be just like getting together with people you love, getting together with family, having feelings of nostalgia, but in a really positive way. Just things that you remembered about your life that you've really appreciated and had gratitude for, but don't necessarily have like an unhealthy attachment to, which can come with nostalgia sometimes. I need to come up with a different word, I think, for this card, because I always say nostalgia, and it's not quite what it is. Um, but it's just that feeling of being one with your inner child. You could even be like maybe working with children here. Again, I mean, if you're a teacher, I mean, we are going back to school at September, so some of you may just be teaching. These cards in combination could just be you're teaching, you're happy about it, you're excited about it, excited to meet the new kids, cultivate a relationship with your new batch of kids, or whatever. I feel like there's something else, and I'm trying to grab onto it. It kind of seems to be floating away. Um, Also, just make sure that you're giving yourself time to play this week and really celebrate yourself, because, I mean, the Emperor energy, the Hierophant energy, these are really big energies. And I did say it when we were on this card. I said, this is kind of a moment of seeing how far you've come. And so with this card, make sure that you're also not only seeing and acknowledging and validating how far you've come, but also celebrating how far you've come. Because I mean, it can be very, like, I'm a Capricorn sun. It can be very easy for me to just be like, okay, next thing, right? Um, and so sometimes I don't give myself enough of a moment to be like, okay, you're always on the step that you're reaching for, but you're not looking back at everything that you've already done. And so make sure to celebrate yourself. Celebrate yourself, because that's what keeps you motivated. That's what keeps you inspired. That's what keeps driving you forward is that acknowledgement that, like, yeah, I'm doing a great job, right? And you're doing a great job. In the third week of September, we have the star card reversed, um, which is also similar to the Emperor in that the star card's all about the power within. Now, this is about the divinely inspired power. This is the intuitive powers. This is this is like being in the spotlight of your own goodness, your own soul. Yeah, your highest good. I'm trying to feel into the reversal and just careful not to second guess yourself here because you are this highest power. You are this highest good. I think I said that last week too. I think the star came up or not last week, last month. I mean, for the Capricorn reading. And I did it come out in the reversal too? I think it might have. But yeah, this is same thing. Just make sure that you are, as you come to these deeper realizations about yourself, that kind of goes both ways in the sense that you realize the deep, enriching goodness and wisdom that comes with leveling up in frequency. You also see more shit because the unconscious is becoming conscious. So I think it's easy to notice things about yourself that you don't appreciate. Um, and you can be like, oh, where did that come from? I didn't see that before. But then there's kind of this moment. I have these moments where, like, I realize it's always been there. It was completely unconscious in my personality. And then there's this sense of, like, not feeling good about myself, right? But that's not actually the right story. Um, in the sense that the fact that you're capable of seeing things about yourself that weren't clear to you before means you've leveled up. Like, you have clearer eyes, you have a greater clarity, which means that you are evolving and you're evolving up, you're going up, you're leveling up in frequency, you're becoming a higher vibration. And that's what allows you to see these things. And then when it comes to those kinds of things, it becomes so much easier to prune them out of your personality. Because ultimately they're not even vibrating at the frequency that you're at, and so they need to go. That's all. They just need to go. It doesn't say anything about who you are as a person, other than the fact that things like that come up because we're survivors, right? Ultimately, everything about you is trying to protect you. And we outgrow certain modes of protection, and that's all it is. And so it doesn't say anything about who you are as a person. It got you here for a reason. You're still alive, you're still here, and it's in large part because of those patterns that we sometimes don't appreciate looking back, right? And so everything that shows up for you in the time that it showed up for you, just give it an honorable death, thank it for getting you this far, tell it you don't need it anymore, and then move on. Move on to your higher vibration, you know? That's all you have to do. Don't judge yourself. Don't shame yourself. Just hold your highest ideal because this is who you are and this is the path. We're always getting better. We're always getting better. So that's okay. You know? Anything else with the star card? Some of you may be a little bit worried about stepping into the spotlight. Or you may be a little bit worried about how do I phrase this? Presenting yourself as you are now if you're significantly different from who you've been in the past, because there can be this feeling of, like, there can be imposter syndrome, right? Of being like, who am I to, like, be this person? And usually it doesn't even come from you. It usually comes from other people who are reflecting that back to you because they're not comfortable with the change or they don't get it. Here's the thing. Other people in your life, they don't have to get it. They don't have to get it. They're not you. But it can be difficult to kind of show up in relationships with people when you're showing up completely differently. And because, you know, boundaries change, the way that you engage can change, the way that how well you resonate with someone can change. And other people don't like change, right? Because they can't control it. They can't control how you change, right? Only you can. And so just be careful about if you're doubting yourself in terms of the way that you show up with other people, the way that you show up in life, the things that you're doing now, because they just may be so much more powerful. than what you've done in the past. And it just takes, when shifts like that happen, it just takes some time for you to get used to you, everyone else to get used to you, and for you to kind of establish your life, um, to carry in that new vibration that you're emitting, because life takes time to catch up. The physical material world is manifesting all the time, but it's the slowest manifestation rate. Like, you can change your mind in a moment, but you can't change your entire life in a moment. It takes time. And so just allow your life to naturally attune itself to the changes you've gone through internally, because it might take some time, but all you have to do is just show up exactly as you are now in this moment, the new you, and allow everything to just catch up, allow it to be messy for a while. Don't doubt yourself. Just what you're looking at is a frequency below who you really are in this moment. That's all. It just needs to catch up. Life needs to catch up. And it's clarified by the Ace of Cups, which again, it means new start. New start in your emotional world, new start in your spiritual world. You've just gone through so many changes. You've got to a place now where you feel so much better. And even that can be weird when you wake up one day and you're like, wow, I just feel good. And this is just my new baseline now. Right? Own it. Own the way you feel. There's power in the way you feel. And that's the frequency you're emitting, and it's new and it's different. So own it. Own it until it becomes second nature to you. Now it's not new anymore, it's just you, right? In the 4th week of September, we have the Hanged Man, which hasn't come up for a while. I get the sense that you guys are just, again, carrying from the Star, carrying into the Hanged Man. There's again that feeling of like life hasn't caught up to where you are yet. Your life may not reflect the new person that you are yet. And this Hanged Man may just be kind of like you waiting to see things sprout from the seeds that you've planted recently, right? I get the sense that you've already kind of placed a lot of your intentions. You have a plan, you know where you're going. You've put some things in motion, and now you're just kind of waiting to see how they develop. It's paired with the Eight of Wands in reverse, which basically means not yet. That's what the reversal means here. The Eight of Wands is really fast-moving energy. It's getting a lot of things done. It's air travel. It's communication. It's things progressing really, really fast, ultimately. And the reversal is just like not yet, but you want it to happen. I know you want it to happen. So just be patient. It doesn't mean that it's not going to happen. It just means that it's going to take a little longer than you thought. There's going to be this kind of space between one thing and the next thing. And that doesn't mean that it's not going to happen. Just remember that. Things are still happening. They're just kind of in this gestation period. And so this Eight of Wands means the Eight of Wands in the direct is available to you. It's just not going to happen quite yet. But it's paired with the Page of Wands, which means that maybe you have something to add to whatever it is that you're doing. Maybe the reason why things are on hold is because there's actually something else to add, to implement before things move forward again. And so you could just be getting an idea towards the last week of the month that allows you to put some new things in place so that things go forward again. Maybe you're just not done. Maybe you thought you were done with whatever it is, this phase of activity or enterprise or career or whatever it is. And then this Page of Wands comes along and says, hey, there's actually something else. There's one more thing that you need to do. So be open to ideas that come in that shift things for you a little bit, and then I get the sense that things will move forward for you again. It seems like it's probably going to be a pretty easy shift, and then just wait. Just see how things develop. I think that's all I have for you guys. This looks like a really impactful month, a really important month for you. So I'm really, really excited to see how this plays out for you. Please drop a comment and let me know how these are playing out for you in your specific situation. Please schedule a personal reading with me if you have a personal concern and you want to see how these energies are playing out specifically in your life and your situation. Make sure to hit like so that other people can see this video. Subscribe if you want to see the next Capricorn video. And I hope to see you guys in October.